Hello, and this is an iPad tutorial for the iPads being handed out in February of 2020. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, the most noticeable difference you should notice between your iPads is there is no longer a home button to take you back to the screen we're currently looking at. So if I happen to be in an app and I needed to get back home, all I would have to do is in the middle bottom of the page, swipe up. So no matter what app you are in, all you need to do is with your finger swipe up to the middle of the page, and then that app will close out and bring you back to your home screen. Now, down at the very bottom of your screen, you will see your dock. Now, on the very right-hand side, there are always going to be 3 apps that are pinned there, and those just happen to be the apps that you maybe use most or are more popular. Those will always change depending on the different apps that you are opening and closing. On the left-hand side, that's a little bit more unique, and each person's will look different. This is because on the left-hand side, you can pick and choose what apps you would like to pin down there. Let me scroll to my next page. I would like to put my Outlook app down on my dock. All I need to do is hold my Outlook app and drag down and put it down on my dock. When I'm finished at the top right-hand page, I can press Done. Now, those apps that are pinned down on the left, you can put up to 13 different apps down there, and they will all fit. Sometimes you will see the icons will begin to get smaller. If you happen to not want an app down there anymore, you can hold on to it and drag it back up. Now, please know that if you do press the X button, it will delete it and delete that app and take it away. You would then have to make your way back to the App Store and reinstall that app. Let's take a look at the app switcher. Now, to access the app switcher, which means to see all the different apps that are open and switch between apps, sometimes it can be a little tricky. I'm going to place my finger at the bottom of the screen and slowly drag it up to the middle and hold. And then once I drag slowly and hold, you will start to see those other apps in small little thumbnails appear. So right now, these are all the different apps that I have open. And just as before, this hasn't changed. If I want to close out of an app, I will just go ahead and swipe it off the page, and it will disappear for us. If I need to get back to my home screen, I drag my finger up, and I'm back at my home screen. Another little trick for you to see the app switcher is to use 4 fingers and pinch in, or to kind of grab the screen slowly. So I'm just going to take 4 fingers and grab slowly, and all of a sudden those apps appear again. That one is a little bit trickier and does take some practice, but once you get it, it is a quick little shortcut to use. And I'm going to swipe up to go back to my home screen. Let me go ahead and open one of my apps. So here I am in the Diligent Boards app. Now, a neat little thing is also you can switch between apps right from this screen. At the very bottom of my screen, you should see a white bar. Sometimes that bar is white, sometimes it's black, depending on the color of the background. But if I go ahead and run my finger right over that bar and swipe from left to right, I'm able to switch between apps. So I can keep going right to switch between all of my apps. I could also go left if I needed to. So that is very nice because it allows you to switch between the apps that you are working on. I'm going to go ahead and swipe from the middle up and go back to my home screen. One of the nice things on the iPad is at the very top right-hand corner, if you just drag your finger in, you're going to see something that looks like this. This is called your control panel. Now, right here on your control panel, there are a couple things that you wanted to look at. The blue dots that are colored in right now tell me that my Wi-Fi is on and that Bluetooth is also on. So that is something that you can control right from this control center. The other thing that I would like to note is where you see the sunshine. If you press and hold that, it'll open up a couple more options that quite possibly you might like to turn dark mode on your iPad. If you do not like dark mode, where your iPad is more of in a darker black background instead of the white, you can turn that back off. But you can also change the brightness of your screen from here. I'm just going to tap to exit out of that. The other thing that I really wanted to note was the volume button. So you can go ahead and just control your volume from right here as well. So I can turn it off and I can turn it back on. This might be a little easier than actually having to press the volume buttons that are on the case holding your iPad. One other thing that I will show you is the bell. If you go ahead and press that bell, it's on silent mode. That just makes sure that if there happens to be any type of alarms or notifications going off, they will be silenced. There are also other options here which you can customize if you so choose. I'm going to tap my screen to go back to home. So that was, again, dragging from the top right will bring out your control panel. Another thing I'd like to show you about is there's a section on your iPad called Today View. If you drag from the left and bring your finger in, this is something that's called Today View. This just lets you get a quick snapshot of some of your different apps, and you're able to place different, what they call widgets here, that let you monitor different things that are going on your iPad and outside of your iPad, such as the local weather. I went ahead and made sure that one of my widgets was the batteries, so that gave me a quick little way to check and see my iPad battery and my pencil battery. Now, if I scroll down to the very bottom of this Today's View, there's a word that says Edit. When I press Edit, I can go ahead and add or delete some of these, what they call widgets. So as you can see in mine, I added the batteries up towards the top. If I wanted to take out some of these things that I do not care for, I can just click the minus symbol and click to remove. So I might choose that one to remove as well. If there is something down below that you choose to want to add there, you can go ahead and click the plus sign, and it would go ahead and add that right up above. Now, depending on your preference and how you want to see them, you may also click the three lines and drag these around so that if I wanted Outlook at the top, or if I just wanted my battery at the top, I can so choose to do that. Once you click done, you will see those changes reflected. So now I have my battery at the top, and at the very bottom, you will also see that I just added the stocks, and that is there as well. I'm going to tap to get out of that. One of the other things that we'll mention today are some of your settings. So if you go into the settings, there's a couple things I wanted to mention. One is the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi you will see should be connected when you are here to the IAA board. It is a password protected Wi-Fi, and that password is automatically pushed out to your iPad. Another thing to note is Bluetooth. Bluetooth should always be on if you would like your pencil to work. If you happen to notice your pencil's not working for some reason, double check your Bluetooth and make sure that Bluetooth is on just by clicking the slider. The other thing is you also want to make sure that your cellular data is on, so you can click that. That way when you have no Wi-Fi, your cellular data will pick up and you still have an internet connection. The last thing I wanted to draw your attention to is down here where it says sounds. You can also adjust your sounds from here. So you can have your volume all the way to off. You can also change the different sounds in alerts. At the very bottom, there are two sliders that I will typically turn off so I don't have those extra sounds, which is the keyboard click and lock sound. Lock sound is the sound that your iPad makes when you close the cover on it and it actually locks. So if you turn those off, then you won't have those sounds going off. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my home screen by dragging my finger straight up. The last thing I will mention is the power button. If I actually wanted my iPad to be powered down, I have to press the power button as well as one of the volume buttons. So press and hold, and then all of a sudden you have the slider where you can power off your iPad to restart it. I'm going to cancel. So those are your main differences between your older iPads and some of the newer ones. If you have any questions, as always, please feel free to reach out, and we are always here to help you with that.